Syrah. It's got those really mouth-filling tannins and it's got a lot of depth to it, a lot of richness, and it's a really nice wine to drink. But I was always thinking of sort of wintry type dishes. But I wanted to come up with a dish that would enjoy it during the summertime as well. And Moussaka seemed like a nice fit.
When I think of Syrah, I think of a very briary, kind of earthy characteristic and a very savory wine. And I think it would be a wonderful complement with lamb and eggplant in a moussaka.
Moussaka is the Greek version of lasagna. The pasta being replaced with layers of eggplant. I like to put a pinch of salt in the very beginning. It actually helps to draw some of the juices out. Add in your lamb and just break that up until the lamb's all cooked all the way through and starting to brown. Usually I like to use fresh herbs. The thing about dried oregano is it has a much more potent characteristic to it that fresh just doesn't have. And then just a pinch of cinnamon. Once you get into Eastern Europe and the Middle East, you see them using cinnamon in savory applications. Splash of Sauvignon Blanc is usually one of the roles that wine's going to play when you do cook, is to add a brightness to a dish. It adds a little bit of acidity. One of the things you'll hear a lot of people say is you want to use the wine that you're going to serve. In some instances I agree with that. Other instances I don't. In this particular case, adding red wine to this is going to make for a much deeper darker color with our tomato sauce. I think I want the tomato sauce to be brighter. One of the things I look for when I'm buying canned tomatoes is try to avoid ones that have calcium chloride. Eggplants are like sponges. Put them into a skillet. Whatever oil you have in there, it doesn't matter how much is in there, that it just absorbs it. And so we're going to season this, and I know everybody's saying, oh my God, that's a lot of salt. But what we're trying to do here is let the salt help to break down the cell structure a little bit so that when it does go into the skillet, it's not able to absorb all the oil. We're going to let these sit for about 20 minutes. It's going to help to pull some of the moisture out. You're going to blot them as much as you can. Capture that moisture. It'll also flatten them a little bit, so you want to lean into them. Have the consistency of light cream sauce. Turn it down so it's just slowly cooking. We want to put a little bit of nutmeg into it. I would encourage you not to buy ground nutmeg. Again, it's sort of like ground peppercorns. You have no idea when that was ground. And the reality is that nutmeg, you use so little of it. If you do buy a jar of ground nutmeg, you'll probably have it for the rest of your life. You buy yourself a grater, and then you just grate over whatever particular dish you're making. And then just let this simmer for 5 minutes or so to let all the flavors come together. You're gonna have to do this in batches, so you want to get as wide a skillet as you can. I think non-stick skillet works well. Get it really, really hot, and you want to make sure that the pan and the oil are hot before you put in your eggplant. So you want to hear it sizzle when it goes in. You'll see them start to change color a little bit. That tells you that they're starting to cook all the way through, and we want to cook them to the point where they'll brown a little bit. Even though we salted them, they're going to absorb oil. So after each addition, you're going to have to add a little bit more olive oil. To make this easily accessible, I'm using a little bit of Gruyere and a little bit of Pecorino, but if you do have access to a Greek soft cheese that you can put over the top of it, by all means use it.
Our Syrah comes from Carneros. It's grown down in a cool region. Syrah grows well in many different types of climate. In a cool region, it is slow to ripen, but it develops a very intense concentration. I think the textures go well together. Syrah has kind of a velvety tannin texture to it, and the kind of creaminess of the whole dish complements, and they go together really, really well.